Welcome. Second video of the week. But the news are hot right now with Lamar Jackson. It's crazy. I never seen so much buzz about the Ravens. We talk about Monday, the possibility of the Ravens transition tagging Lamar. And I said on Monday, right? Not that many people were saying it, but I said, like, hey, if the Ravens do transition tag Lamar, I think this is more of an indication that Lamar stays that he leaves, right? That was my thing of thought. And I think we're here, right? We obviously we're here. We transition tag Lamar. Now we're looking what's happening next. I see on the internet, right? I see on Twitter. I was actually watching some of the shows, some of the clips on YouTube of collusion here, collusion there, collusion. I got so many messages today about, oh, the owners are colluding for Lamar. Look, I always will start with this. Lamar should get as much money as he can, right? We all do. We all do in our jobs, right? I want to make X amount of money, and then we can go back and forth with my employer. Sometimes I might get it, sometimes I might not. But we all try to get as much money as we can, especially with Lamar. This is his first big contract, right? But then you think, why is no traction? Why there's no more buzz on Lamar? This guy, 26 years old, on his prime or going to his prime, he's out there for you to sign. 2 first-round picks gets it done, which is cheap for the player that it is. And I said on Monday, if we lose Lamar because somebody, whoever team is, signs him to offer sheet and we cannot match it, EDC needs to be fired, right? I said that because it's malpractice. You should be able to get more than 2 first-round picks for Lamar. Anyway, saying that, I think the biggest problem that Lamar has on the combine, if we go back a little bit and we go to the combine, on the combine we were hearing, hey, Lamar Jackson might get traded, right? Teams are talking to the Ravens about the possibility of trading for Lamar Jackson. The Falcons were one. To a very extent, the Panthers. I also heard a report the Jets, right? And when EDC is getting talks, right? Let's say they're talking about compensation. That's the first thing, right? Let's say you're the GM of the Falcons and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about trading for Lamar Jackson. Okay, cool. What is the compensation-wise? I'm looking for 2 firsts, 2 seconds. And, if that happens, then we might be able to get a deal, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Okay, you know what? I think I can do it. Deshaun Watson got about that a little bit more. I think I can give you 2 firsts, 2 seconds, maybe a fifth or whatever, right? Cool. Well, the GM of the Falcons now asks, oh, wait, I get Lamar. I need to sign him. I need to know where are you currently at? What is Lamar Jackson asking for, and what are you currently offering? Where we know by Lamar Jackson's own mouth last year that the Ravens offer between 180 and 190 fully guaranteed, not fully, 180 or 190 guaranteed, and the contract was bigger, but that was the guaranteed part. And the Ravens probably said to whoever these teams, the Falcons, whoever, well, Lamar Jackson asking, put an X, 250, 300, I don't know, none of us know, fully guaranteed contract. And those teams at that moment obviously did not pull the trigger, right? Because the Ravens don't have a contract right now, and those teams didn't trade for Lamar Jackson. Okay, so now it comes to the hour zero. The Ravens know, well, these teams, as soon as I gave what Lamar was asking, none of these teams were pulling the trigger, right? They were gun shy. Okay, so at worst, if I put transition tag, I can always match it, but I don't think the market's there, right? And this is the conundrum. Lamar Jackson is saying, this is how much I want. The only team that was the only team that was willing to do that type of contract for any player in the league was the Browns. Now, there's another team that did it with Kirk Cousins, the Minnesota Vikings, but it was very short, 3-year deal. 3-year deal, fully guaranteed. But with Lamar Jackson's not a 3-year deal, right? We're talking about a deal that is probably 5 or 6 year, fully guaranteed. As I explained to somebody, when you're talking about a deal to that magnitude, you have to sit back and think, especially not only for the Ravens, but if you are any other team, you have to think back for a moment and say, Lamar Jackson is a hell of a player. Lamar Jackson also missed the last quarter of both last seasons, okay? Lamar Jackson may or may not work here, and we know it worked in Baltimore, but how many free agents we have seen that they move teams and they don't work, right? That's always a possibility. Okay. Not only that, I don't have first for 2 years. That hurts, but MVP, former MVP quarterback into his prime, 2 first, not that bad. But if it doesn't work, how can I get out of this contract? You can't. 6 years fully guaranteed. You're depleted. You are depleted. And you will say, Sonny, but Lamar's different. Lamar's that guy. Yeah. And you could be right. Look, I love Lamar. I said it. The only quarterback jersey I ever owned is Lamar Jackson. It's a little falling here, but I have my Lamar Jackson little thing, little picture there, right? Love Lamar Jackson. But if a team's trading for him, this is the trainer that fully guaranteed. If we remember last year, Deshaun Watson, I think Lamar Jackson's better than Deshaun Watson, right? And Deshaun Watson's there. Any team can trade. 3 teams agreed to terms with the Texans, meaning on compensation. Those teams, the Texans were like, I like your compensation. Carolina Panthers, I like your compensation. Atlanta Falcons, and I like your compensation. Cleveland Browns. And I think there was a 4th, but those 3 teams made it to the end. And then the Browns were not on the top 2. And Watson was thinking about it. And the rumor has it that neither of those 2 teams were willing to offer fully guaranteed. I actually don't even think if Watson was asking for fully guaranteed. The only thing we know is Watson did not want him to play for the Cleveland Browns. That's what was reported. And a week later, Haslam came, pulled the brick, gave him all the fully guaranteed money, and the rest is history. He became a Cleveland Brown. Saying that, we're talking about almost the same teams, right? Because the Panthers and the Falcons both without a quarterback. But again, they did not want it to do for Deshaun Watson. I don't think they want to do it for Lamar. Lamar doesn't have the baggage, but Lamar has 2 seasons where he missed the last quarter of the year. As he gets older, he's young, but as he gets moving into his career, so you guarantee him 5 or 6 years. How many more games is he gonna miss? How is that gonna hit the cap? Now, I saw the narrative in the media. Oh, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes got 40 mil guarantee, not 40 mil guarantee, but around 40 mil average salary. Lamar's getting 32. How disrespectful. No. Daniel Jones agreed into a long-term contract, right? And he got some more securities than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's not guaranteed. Lamar Jackson, should his long-term deal be more than Daniel Jones? Of course. Okay, so we talk about this, right? The Falcons didn't want to do it with Watson. The Panthers didn't want to do it with Watson. Now, I'm assuming it's the same thought with Lamar Jackson. Now, where's another layer here? Think about the last 3 quarterbacks that got paid. Deshaun Watson. Did Deshaun Watson look good last year? He didn't. He looked okay, but he wasn't like, oh my God, groundbreaking. And Cleveland is hoping, and I know Cleveland Browns fans are very nervous that he cannot be the guy in Houston. Because if he cannot be the guy in Houston, they're going to suck for a couple more years. Now they're not going to be first round pick back. They're going to be middle of the pack, trying to fight for that last playoff spot. But that's not what you pay when you traded for Deshaun Watson, right? With the picks and the money, that's not what you pay. Okay, let's talk about the next guy. Russell Wilson, not MVP, but he was he a Super? No, he wasn't a Super Bowl MVP. but a guy that was considered an MVP candidate, classy dude, Pro Bowler. Some people have him as a potential Hall of Famer. You trade for him. You give a bunch of assets. You did not fully guarantee, but you did pay him. You pay him a lot of money, not fully guaranteed. But because you traded assets, that meant that your team got weaker. And even though this deal is for Russell Wilson is not fully guaranteed, the first 2 years is kind of fully guaranteed, right? Then you could get out of the Russell Wilson um, um, cap number. You can release him and you can do whatever. Well, Russell Wilson gave the Denver Broncos, a team with a top defense, a team that had weapons, right? The fifth worst record in the league. Okay. Now think about another guy that got paid way more than Wilson, right? Meaning in guarantee money, way more, younger guy, also with some injury history. Injury history similar to Lamar, not until last year. Last year he tore his ACL, but before that he missed 3 games here, he missed 5 games there, right? In his first 3 years, we talk about Kyler Murray, a guy that puts yards, puts numbers. A guy that has a lot of weapons. Lamar doesn't have those weapons, but he has the weapons. Defense not as good. Think about the money that they gave him, and that team didn't even lose on assets, right? The Cardinals didn't trade for him. What did that give the Arizona Cardinals the third worst record in the league? So if you're a team, if you're a GM, you have to put a plan, not just back tomorrow. If you want to do a short term, right? Something that if it doesn't work, I can flip it back. That's what the Jets are right now. The Jets are talking to Aaron Rodgers because they're saying, well, let's say I traded my first for Aaron Rodgers. And during the first year, it really doesn't work. The following year, if it goes completely out the tank, right? And I have a first round pick, well, the following year I can just cut Aaron Rodgers and whatever. No harm nor foul, right? And then I can just draft a quarterback, right? So, but in the case of Lamar Jackson, it's not a 1 year commitment. It's a 5 to 6. Okay, even more. Because this story has layers, right? You have to think, why is this happening? Why? Well, the big guarantee money. I actually think if Lamar was, you know what, I'll take a 6-year deal, 300 mil, 200 mil for fully guaranteed, I think he already be a Raven. Because if what we heard is correct, where he said last year out of his mouth, they gave me between 180, 190, somewhere there, guarantee money. 200 is nothing. Okay, but if he wants 300, they're $100 million apart, and that's a sticking point. Okay, well, the last point that I'm gonna give you guys is there's teams right now that either have a quarterback or they're content with their quarterback. The teams that really do not have a quarterback or they're not content with the quarterback. The Falcons. I don't even know who the Falcons. Oh, Risners, right? The Buccaneers. Which the Buccaneers, oddly enough, had not said anything about being out of Lamar Jackson's sweepstakes or whatever. The Panthers, the Texans, and the Jets. I don't know if I'm missing any, but at least those 5 teams, right? Those 5 teams we know do not have a quarterback. Texans, the Colts, 6 teams, right? Different also from last year. Think about when Sean Watson was being shopped around to be traded. How bad that QB class was, right? Think about the QB class. We if you follow me also in the AFC North talk, we celebrated when the first quarterback got pick 22nd, 23rd. I can't remember. It was in the 20s, which was Pickett, right? For the Pittsburgh Steelers. And after that, no other quarterback got picked until the 3rd round because that quarterback class was not great, right? And time will tell if it was really good or not, but I'm saying coming out. We have 6 teams. 6 teams that need a quarterback. They're not either content. Because you can argue like the Bears, but the Bears basically has said, I'm going to have Justin Fields. I'm going to just roll with him, right? I guess Commanders will be at a 7th team that I didn't mention. Right, and then the Saints now have their guy. One of these 7 teams is gonna get Jimmy Garoppolo, a meh quarterback, but whatever. They're probably gonna just get him, plop it in, and be okay with that. And that's not gonna take acid, right? For these 7 teams, let's say somebody's gonna get Garoppolo that has 6 teams now. This year, there are 4 quarterbacks that they are talking about getting picked on the top 10. Well, from this 6 teams, 4 of those teams are looking at the quarterback class, the rookie class, to say that is less of a risk. Yes, we don't know if those guys can be Lamar. They might not even be Lamar, right? But if you look at the playoffs, most of the teams that make the playoffs are under QBs with a rookie deal, and those teams that make it further are teams that also have a player on the rookie deal, exception Mahomes, right? Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league right now. Okay, so that basically says from these 6 teams, I get 2. Whoever these 2 teams are that don't make that, that's it. Well, think about this. From those 2, one of those teams looks like it's gonna get Aaron Rodgers. And then there was one. And this is the problem. When your market is, I'm gonna get 7. There's 7 per people that I can sell my phone to, right? There's 7 people, they're looking for a phone. My phone is here for sale, right? And those 7 people know, wait. 4 of us can get a bargain over here, right? Way cheaper. And with that bargain, I don't even have to give anything else. Instead of giving me $2,000, I can get it for $200. You know what? I'll wait. And then from the others, oh wait, there is another used one. Oh, these 4 are new, so they might be good, they might not. This one is a proven commodity mine. These ones are not proven, but it's so much cheaper. I might just roll the dice with that. Then there's another one, it's an older model, not as good either, but way cheaper. Instead of 2,600, you know what? I might just try my luck at that, because next year the talk is the QB class is as good as this year, or might even be better with Caleb Williams out there, right? So you know what? I'll try my luck with Mr. Garoppolo. I'll talk with my luck with this mid-tier QB. Okay. Well, now from 7, we had 3. From 3, Garoppolo, that's 2. And you know what? Looks like it's the Jets. Even though this guy is old over here and you're selling yours for 2,000, this might be 1,800. If it doesn't work, yours I'm stuck for 6 years. And if it doesn't work, it's 6 years of being stuck. Or if it is giving me problems, it's getting damaged. It's 6 years of me getting stuck, or 5 years. This was only a year, so I can just get under it very quickly. And I don't have to give you more assets. I can just maybe a first round pick on Rodgers instead of Lamar's 2. Okay? So now there's one. And again, who this one is, I don't know. We don't know. It's whoever's playing musical chairs that doesn't land. But the problem is this one, if it is a sorry ass franchise, as let's say the Commanders and the Panthers and some of these other teams, some of these other franchises, they haven't won in a while, I can say. And to be fair, for example, the Panthers have been trying. Commanders, let's say the Commanders are there and say, you know what, we could get Lamar Jackson, but that would mean we have to give up this first round pick, which is not super high, but whatever. And next year's first. Or I can just suck as my division might get stronger. Get Caleb Williams next year for cheap. For 5 years. And that is the problem right now that Lamar has. It's all about timing. If Lamar was available last year to trade, I don't know. Well, first of all, he wouldn't be demanding the fully guarantee, because let's assume that it would have happened before Deshaun Watson. And this is why, if you want to blame somebody, you do blame the Ravens, because the Ravens could have extended Lamar on year 3 after they put that 5th-year option there, they could extend him. So you could blame the Ravens for this, for all this shit that is happening. But the Ravens were smart of putting that transition tag on him, right? And letting him explore. Lamar, you know what? Go check. We look, this conversation, people are like, oh, this is so disrespectful on Lamar. I'm like, is it? Because if I was Lamar and Eric DeCosta comes to me like, look, we are 100 miles apart. I think this is what the market bears, but you think it's the other one. I do want you. I do want you. But let's do this. Instead of me basically forcing you exclusive tag and letting only these teams can talk to you, I'm gonna let you talk to all of them. All of them. Whoever wants to talk to you, they can talk to you. I cannot stop it. You want to talk to the Dolphins, you can talk to them. You want to talk to the Falcons, you can talk to them. You want to talk to the Jets, you can talk to them. I'm not gonna stop you. But what I'm gonna do is, if they say they breach the gap, and I like that contract, I still want you here, and I will sign it. But if I can't, you know what? You found the contract you wanted, and go, no harm, no foul. I think that was the best thing, the best scenario, other than being completely free for Lamar Jackson. So this is where we are. This is where we are. Lamar Jackson is right now in a market that not as many. I mean, 7 teams is a lot, but again, with 4 quarterbacks coming out that people think they're gonna be really good, that takes more than half of the needy teams out because that's a cheaper investment, right? And with Aaron Rodgers possibly getting traded, that takes also one team out. And with Jimmy Garoppolo, although I don't like him, out there for a cheaper contract, that takes one more out. And again, in the game of musical chairs, we're down to 1. Who is that one? We don't know. But this is why Lamar Jackson hasn't got more traction. Okay, let me see some comments that I have here. Also, guys, if you can, give it a like, hit that bell so when I go live, boom, you know. When I put a video, boom, you know. JSN and Say Flowers are gonna be my draft profile for next week. I'm finishing tape, so we'll talk about them. Okay, Raven right here says thinks Lamar should get an agent. Why stretch himself out? Also on his contract, you could get more. Like the whole agent thing, I think we all have egos, and I think his ego is telling him, why am I giving, I don't know, 3% of whatever money I'm making to this rando when my mom can do it? The one thing I will say is like, dude, you're gonna make so much money with this contract that pay that 3% or whatever it is so your mom and you can chill and tell that agent, I don't want only the Ravens contract or whoever it is. I want you to get me that next contract, that endorsement deals, so I can live up. And then don't forget about companies calling you. You let him do that. That's what I would do. But again, it's just prerogative. I don't care. I mean, if he doesn't want to do it this way, I think it's what has the Raven frustrated. And again, I think more than collusion, if he, for example, is asking for 300 mil guarantee, I'm sure some teams are like, so look at it sideways, like, we ain't gonna do that. It's gonna be interesting how he reacts to it. It's gonna be very interesting. Hughes here says, I really think Ravens did this move in good faith, but the media is really spinning it. I agree. There's always motives. So I'm not gonna say like, oh, this was a saint move, right? Like, oh, the Ravens are so good. Like, no. The Ravens make this move because it was the best move for the franchise. But it's also low-key the best move for Lamar, right? I mean, Lamar can, in theory, call the Falcons like, hey, and you need a quarterback. Because this is what the agents will do. Falcons, you need a quarterback. Let's talk numbers. Let's sit down. Sit down, talk numbers. Hey, Jets, you need a quarterback. Let's sit down, talk numbers, right? They can do all this. So Lamar could do it. I don't know if he's going to do it. He might just let it come to him. It's definitely a different dynamic not having an agent. But again, I think it's the biggest deal in the world. No. I just think the market right now for him because nobody wants to get guarantees. Because the last three quarterbacks that got highly paid have not paid out, right? Even though it's only been a year, but we're talking about three teams that were in the worst 10 records in the league, right? Um, Giving assets for him, and as soon as you fully guarantee, if it doesn't work, you're stuck for X amount of years. And on top of that, that rookie class in the quarterback side looks good, looks way better than last year. All that factors in, and I think that is why Lamar does not have traction right now. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not going to get it. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention the Raiders. Raiders are another team. So I guess two teams will be out there. And again, the question is, if you're a GM, you're not only looking for this year, you're looking for the future. And let's say you're out of the Musica shares with the rookies, quarterback, and Garoppolo. There is the possibility you're going to suck no matter what. I mean, not if you get Lamar, you're going to suck. And you can say, you know what? Let me suck and go get Kelly Williams, right? That is the decision that the Texans made. The Texans say, you know what? We ain't going to be good. But next year we're going to get our guy because they knew the quarterback class was good. Next year we're going to get our guy and we're going to build around him. Now, to my last point, who will be the team that can give the best trade for Lamar, not get hindered by resources? The money part is big. It's actually Houston, Texas, because if you give your second and 12, yes, the second is high, second and 12, you can argue that the Ravens can be like, you know what, that second is appealing, I can get a quarterback. But you as a Houston Texans, you still had the 33rd, right? The first pick or second pick in the second round usually is the first pick of the second round, the 33rd. There's a forfeited pick, right? You still have all those picks. And you know what you have next year? 2 firsts. So with Lamar Jackson, you can split that team very quickly. I actually think the Texans is the best team for trade purpose. So in the case of the other teams, can be a hit or miss. But the Texans, they can take those 2 picks, the 2 firsts for this year, give it to the Ravens, and then next, and still have an early second, 2 firsts next year to keep building around Lamar. So that's what I have for you guys. Hopefully, I'll actually, you know what? I would like to know, what is your thoughts? What do you think? Why do you think there's no traction? Do you really think it's collusion, or do you think it's just the market, right? How everything is set up with the rookies and what happened last year? I would like to hear your thoughts. Please put it on the comments below.